All right, guys, today we're checking out the Ausom DT2 Pro electric scooter. I'm gonna trip up with this name, DT2 Pro, DT2 Pro. Pretty wide foot deck, kind of a black, gray colorway with a bit of orange accents over here. Orange. And yeah, it just seems like a pretty quality electric scooter for its class. Anyway, let's walk through all the features. This is a dual motor setup, and according to the website, together they have 2,912 peak power, and you mix that with the 52 volt, 23.4 amp hour battery. That's a pretty decent amount of power for a dual motor electric scooter. We also have dual swing arms, so front and rear, connected to a monoshock. So it looks like this thing has plenty of suspension for a little bit of off-road. We also got the integrated front fender, integrated rear fender, got the dual charging ports. So if you wanted to add a second charger, you could do a quick charge. Like I said, the foot deck is pretty wide. It's about 20.7 inches long and 7 inches across. You also have some rubberized textures over here to keep you planted. Here's the rear footrest. I definitely love when these things are rigid. It gives you a point of contact for your rear foot. Now, as far as wheel size, we have 10-inch tubeless tires, a bit of a dual sport tread. We also got front and rear zoom hydraulic disc brakes. So the brakes are both on the same side. This also has an eABS braking system. Stem lock over here, so once you unscrew it, you can fold it down. I'll show you guys in a second what that looks like. So to turn it on, you hit the power button over here, screen turns on. It's gonna have these dotted lines on the top, and then you take the NFC card. Now you have access to the system. So I like this center mounted color LCD display. I really like the design, showing me that I'm on eco mode right now. We have eco, sport, and race. 3 different modes. If you hold down this button, it turns on the headlight, very, very bright. You also get some ambient lighting over here, side ambient lighting. Here's what the right side looks like. And we also have turn signals. So if we hit left, you get the rear to light up left. Very cool. Doesn't seem like we have anything in the front as far as like indicators. So you only get that rear turn signal. You could also turn off the ambient lighting by double clicking the plus button real quick. So we'll double click it and that turns it off. Double click it again, turns it on. And you also have a push button to change from single to dual motor. So that's dual motor over here. You see that icon. Press it again, it is single motor. I'm not quite sure if you could do single front or single rear. It's probably just single rear, but having an actual button that you could just press to change the modes is really good. You got a horn, high-pitched horn. And then you also have a finger throttle. So we definitely reviewed an electric scooter on the channel with a finger throttle. Not my favorite throttle, to be honest. It's a little bit weird having to modulate between, the brake or the throttle. It's easy to get used to in practice, but definitely for me, not really intuitive. And then you also have these ergonomic rubber grips. I actually really like these grips. Okay, so let's get into the P settings. So to get into the P settings, you hold down plus and minus at the same time. Okay, so now we're at PO1, and then we could scroll through it by hitting the power button. PO2, we're in the US, so we'll keep it in miles per hour. We're gonna go down to 8. It's set to 100. This is the speed limit, 5 to 100. So we're gonna keep it at 100. PO9, it's set to 1. We're actually gonna change that to 0. This is for 0 start throttle instead of kickstart. P11 is eABS brake force level from 1 to 5. So right now it's set to 3. We're gonna change that to 0. We'll turn that off. If you don't touch it, it'll just go back to the main screen. So that's how you get it to the P settings, and that's how we like our preferences. Now I'll show you guys how to fold the scooter. So we'll turn it off. This orange knob, you turn it counterclockwise to unlock it. So you loosen that up. So once that's loose, you can pull this latch over here. Stem folds down, and then you can screw this back in. And this little latch or hook over here will go under the rear footrest over there. And you just kind of have to push it in so the latch is on. And the total weight of the scooter is about 74 pounds. So if you have to carry this up a flight of stairs, it won't actually be that pleasant, but it's very doable. So now that we've gone over all the features of the Ausom DT2 Pro, let's take it out for its first ride. In 3, 2, 1, and Ausom scooter Dragy Test. Here we go. 30 miles per hour. 34. 36. 38. 36. Holding on 36. And about 37 miles per hour. That's what we're maxing out to. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, going uphill now. Uphill test. Dual motor, race mode. Pretty smooth ramp up. And kind of holding steady at 30. And that is what we got for that test. All right, guys, first ride with the Ausom DT2 Pro dual motor electric scooter. We'll just get right into it because it's really cold here in Michigan. It's probably in the 20s or 30s, but it feels like it's single digit. To turn the scooter on, hold down the power button, swipe the NFC card. There you go. Put the kickstand up. And let's do single motor eco mode. See how that feels. We have 0 start throttle. Okay. Now, right off rip, it's a very smooth throttle tune. If you've never like tried a finger throttle before, it is kind of, it's a little weird. I'll be honest. I kind of feel like, you know, my finger should be closer to the brake, but it's not bad. It is kind of easy to control. I like how quiet it is. All right, let's bump it up to sport mode now. Give it some throttle here. Yeah, very responsive. It's not like a crazy strong low end torque, but maybe that's because it's on single motor mode. Feels pretty easy to control. All right, let's go to race mode now, single motor. All right, so when I like pin down the throttle, there is a bit of a delay. So I'm gonna just pin down the throttle with my finger, and it takes a little bit to kick in, right? Are we under attack, Jerry? What's going on here? All right, sorry about that, guys. A bunch of jets just flew over. Lost my train of thought there. All right, race mode, guys. We're on race mode, single motor. Yeah, a little bit of a smooth ramp up, you know, doesn't feel too much different from sport, but I am obviously hitting a higher top speed. Let's try some different settings here. Now we're on eco mode. Let's do dual motor. And this is probably going to have a little bit more kick to it, so I just want to make sure I'm braced for it. And here we go. And yeah, so right away, feels way more responsive with both wheels kicking in simultaneously. Higher low end torque. Still very easy to control though. Yeah, even on eco mode, you still get a lot of kick. Sport mode now, dual motor, sport mode. Yeah, very responsive. I really do like the tune. You know, it kind of compensates for the finger throttle that I really am not into, but I find it really easy to control. And even this, the footrest on the back is helping me to kind of steer it and find the balance on it. And then finally, we'll do race mode, dual motor. And way more torque, obviously, off the line. Woo! Oh boy. And then let's test out these brakes. Brakes. And yeah, the hydraulic brakes are doing its thing.
So let's recap the specs. The Ausom DT2 Pro weighs in at around 74 pounds and features an aluminum alloy frame with a wide 20.7 by 7 inch deck. It's got a headlight, turn signals, and subtle ambient LED lighting along the body. An NFC key lock handles access, which adds a layer of security. Power comes from dual motors with a combined peak output of just under 3,000 watts. And in our testing, we reached speeds over 35 miles per hour. It runs on a 52-volt, 23.4 amp-hour battery with dual charging ports. A finger throttle controls power delivery, while dual swing-arm suspension, front and rear, helps smooth things out. 10-inch tubeless tires and front and rear hydraulic disc brakes round out the features.
Just letting it rip around here on the empty but icy and debris-filled parking lot. Nothing like shooting a electric scooter review in Michigan in November in really cold temps. I really actually like the suspension on this thing. I really can kind of feel it over these cracks in the road. So nice, so easy to maneuver. And I'm just trying to like find my balance here. Like, I love that my left foot is planted, so I can kind of like dip into these turns, right? And really like find my sweet spot for maneuvering. And now I'm getting used to the finger throttle a little bit. Still kind of awkward, but manageable, right? Could try going up this hill in dual motor mode. We took EABS off, so hopefully that won't affect our traction here. All right, now we're off-road, and oh my God, oh God. Okay, it can't handle it. It can go up this hill. Oh, can it do it? Yes, yes, up the hill. Oh God. Oh man, lots of vibrations. That hurt. So yeah, it can go off-road, right? You can do it. Would you want to go off-road? Probably not. But you know, if you needed to kind of cut through the grass here, easy enough. But where it really belongs is on smooth pavement like this, right? That's where this thing really shines. And yeah, if you're riding this through the bike lanes or through a downtown, this is where you want to use it. And if it can handle these jacked up roads in Michigan, you can definitely handle wherever you live. All right, first impressions with the Ausom DT2 Pro. I was actually pleasantly surprised, you know, the longer I was riding it and trying all the different modes. There's a little bit of something for everyone in terms of the tune. You can ride it in eco mode, single motor. If you're a beginner, I think it'd be pretty easy to learn how to master. And then as you get more experience, as you get more comfortable maybe riding in traffic if you have to, dual motor and race mode is probably the best bet for that kind of riding. It was surprisingly easy to maneuver. Some scooters, I find either the stem is too low or too high, or like maybe the footrest is not strong enough. It's like too soft. This is kind of perfect. And I was able to find my stance pretty easily. So I can kind of like lean into the turns and like use my body to help balance. I do like, you know, all the features that it comes with. Obviously the turn signals, the ambient lighting is a nice touch, the dual charger ports, you know, that finger throttle, right? This is not my most favorite thing. I do like to have my index finger covering the brake, right? I don't like it to be far away, but I can compensate with my middle finger maybe. The more I've used it, I think the easier it is to control. Full twist, half twist, that's just what I'm used to. It can handle some off-road. The suspension is pretty decent, so if you have to travel on grass, it can do it. Yeah, and like 52 volts, dual motor, that's kind of like a good balance, I feel, between like 48 and 60. I personally don't really need to be going 60 miles per hour on an electric scooter, but some people do. Those are my first impressions with the Ausom DT2 Pro.
So here's what we like. The Ausom DT2 Pro stands out with a smooth controller tune and strong dual motor torque that feels punchy when you need it. The suspension also does a solid job, making it capable of light off-road use. But here's some things to consider. There's no option to change the ambient lighting color. You can't switch to front-wheel drive only, and the finger throttle has a bit of a learning curve. So, what do you think of the Ausom DT2 Pro electric scooter? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.